Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Techie Brains. My name is Lata Verma and today in this video you are going to see how to do logging in a Spring Boot application. In my last video, we discussed about what is SonarLint and how we can use it in Eclipse IDE. And using SonarLint, we fixed so many issues, we implemented so many best practices in our code, and we enhanced our code quality. But there was one thing that we did not fix, and it was for system.out.println. For system.out.println, SonarLint was giving a solution that this statement can be replaced with logger, and logger is something that is to be implemented. So today in this video you are going to see how to use logger in a Spring Boot application. For logging, there is a separate framework provided. That means you will have to add dependency in your application. But hold on, because it is a Spring Boot application, so by default with Spring Boot starter dependency, logging dependencies are also provided to you in your application. If you add Spring Boot starter web, so it has a Spring Boot starter logging dependency, and that has basically common logging bridge. So ultimately when you have added a Spring Boot starter dependency in your project, so automatically you are getting logging dependencies also, so no need to add extra dependencies. With this you also need to understand about different logging levels. So for your Java application, you can have different logging levels like info, warn, error, debug and trace. Your IDE is configured automatically for these top 3 logging levels, but for rest of the 2 you will have to write extra configuration in your application, and that you will see. So let's get started. In this Spring Tool Suite, I am going to create a new Spring Starter project to create my REST API so that I can add logging in that Spring Boot application. So I'm going to give it a name like Spring Logger Demo, and here this is the description. Let me give the description here like Spring application with logger, Spring Boot application with logger, and then clicking on next. Now I want to create web service, so that's why I need this dependency Spring Web Services, and that's it. No special dependency is needed for logger. With this I have created this project, and to make it a REST application I'm going to create controller. And let's say this is greet controller. To make it a controller, I will have to use annotation REST controller, and I'll have to give a handler method. And this is the URL mapping. After doing this, I can return a string type value from here, and that is welcome. Now if I want to add logger over here, so how can I do that? There is a logger factory provided by the dependency of logger. Logger factory is used to create logger instance, and it uses factory pattern. So from the factory, logger factory, we will be getting the logger instance. So first of all, it is needed to be imported from SLF4j, and then it's get logger method can be called. Which gives you logger instance, and this logger instance you can add from SLF4j. Once this logger instance is created, you can add logging information in for different logging levels. Like you have seen, there are 5 different logging levels, and info is the commonly used logging level. So let me just use all these logging levels over here. So first is info, so logger.info, and let's say this is this message is for info logging level, and in the same way I can add for, so for all those 5 logging levels I have written some messages over here. So let me just execute my application. And here you can see it is running well. Now I can open over here, I can just use the port number on which my application is running, and the URL mapping is greet. So because my REST API is working well, so I'm supposed to get this welcome message over here. So this web service is working well. Let's see, when this handler method was called for greet URL, then some logging information is maintained onto the console or not, because we did that over here for this method call. So see, on console you can see there are 3 messages displayed, and these 3 messages are basically for 3 different logging level like info, error and warn. I told you that by default in your IDE for these 3 logging level configuration is already set, but if you want your IDE to understand these 2 logging levels also, you will have to write some extra configuration. And how to do that? See, in applications.properties file you will have to write logging level dot root, and then you can provide the logging level which is to be understood to IDE, your IDE. So let's say this is debug. If I write logging.level.root over here, that means this logging level debugging is now applicable to the root of my application. That means from root level, whatever debugging related log is to be maintained, that will be shown over here. So messages, so many debugging related logging information onto the console, but I don't want it to be at root because I don't want to see for all those internal things. I just want to see debugging logging for my specified package, and in my case the package name is com.lata.demo.controllers. Once I do this, so my IDE will be understanding this debugging logging level for this particular package. And after doing this, if I execute my application once again, you would see that now my IDE understands this debugging logging level also. So let me do that. Your application is started and then you can just test it on browser. I'm refreshing it. The handler method is working, and with this you can see that now you are getting logging information from at debug level also. This debug logging level is also understood to the IDE. But the way all these messages are displayed are different. If you would like to change the pattern, so you can change it by providing some pattern based properties in application.properties file. So how we can define that pattern? We can go for property logging dot pattern dot console, and here you can define the pattern. Logging.pattern.console is meant for having a pattern for all logging things onto the console. So logging.pattern.console you can write to have all the logging information to be in this particular pattern. For the pattern you can explore, there are different like pattern that we can use for logging. So this is one of them, and if after writing this pattern I execute my application once again, execute your application once again, and let me just refresh this page over here so that handler method can work, and then you can see onto the console the information is maintained like this, like the pattern has got changed. After executing this application you can see that the pattern on for logging has got changed, and in this way you can use different patterns to display your logging information. But many times we want all the logging information to be there in a file. So how we can store all the logging information into the file, that you are going to see now. So for that you just need to specify logging.file.name, and here you can give a name of the file. Let's say I'm giving application.log. So now in this file log will be maintained, and in the same way I can define pattern for file as well. So instead of console I can write file. That means for console normal pattern will be followed, but for file this specified pattern will be followed. After doing this I'm going to execute my application once again. I'm refreshing this, and here you can see that if I refresh my project, then automatically application.log file is being created, and if I open it, so you can see the same log in that specified pattern over here in application.log file. So this is how we can store the login information in a separate file. But many times you would like to have different kind of logging information in different type of files. For example, for your like for your successful code you would like to maintain some logging information in app.log file, let's say, and for some errors you would like to keep information in a separate file, let's say with name error.log. So how can you do that? You are going to see that now. For that you will have to make use of logback. Logback is the framework that is used in the logging, and in this video I'm going to use this for keeping different kind of logging information in different files. So for this you will have to make use of logback.xml file. So in the resource folder you can create a new file and you can provide it any name. Let's say I'm providing logback.xml file, and in this file I'm going to write the code. I have written some code over here. which has a property home log, and its value is logs. So wherever I have used this property, its value logs will be taken up. So here I have used two appenders. First is for audit, file audit. First is there with name file audit, and second is there with file edit error, because I want to maintain two separate files. First is for maintaining successful information, successful logs, and second is for maintaining error logs. So here file audit is the name, and this is the inbuilt class that you have to use. This is from logback, and logback framework dependencies are also added in your Spring Boot application by default. So this rolling file appender is something that you have to use for maintaining successful logs, and here you have specified the file name in which all the successful logs will be maintained automatically. This file will be generated automatically in logs folder. So this home underscore log will be replaced by logs, and in that app.log file will be created where all the successful log is going to be maintained. So it is like some rolling policy that you have to set. You are going to set the maximum size for that log file 10 MB, so that if that size is exceeded, the previous content can be deleted. And then you have specified the pattern also. In encoder you have specified the pattern, in which pattern the successful logs are supposed to be maintained in this app.log file. In the same way you have created appender for error also. So this is the appender for error. In the same way you have specified rolling file appender like you did before for this, and you have given it a name file error. All the error related information is needed to be maintained in home log that has value as logs. In this folder in file error.log, all the error related information, error related logs will be maintained. In the similar way you have some rolling policy over here, and its maximum size is, let's say, 10 MB you are keeping, and then you have specified the pattern also, in which all the error logs are supposed to be maintained in error.log file. Now after doing this, I have to specify the package for which I want two different log files to be created. So here in logger I am going to specify the package. My package name is com.lata.demo.controller over here. So all the successful logs from this controller will be maintained in the referenced file audit appender. Okay, and for this app.log is the file where log will be maintained. But I want error to be logged in a separate file at root level, not for a specified package. So that's why I have used here root level error, and appender reference is file error, means the one which you have written over here. That means now for root level of this application, all error logs will be maintained in error.log file. So after doing this, I can just comment all the logging related things that I have written in application.properties file. Because at this moment logback.xml is the one that is going to work, and because I have used rolling file appender over here, so that's why on console I'm not supposed to get the logging messages. So if I execute my application now, let me just stop it and then I'll execute it again. So on to the console, you can see that log is not maintained. Let me just execute my application onto browser. My handler method is working well, and after doing this I can refresh my application, and after refreshing the application you can see that the logs folder is created, and over here two files have been created automatically, app.log and error.log. Right now there is no error, so that's why error.log is empty, but in app.log you can see the complete logging messages which you have specified in this handler method. Sometime it happens that we have some kind of error over here. Let me just write that error deliberately over here. So I'm just dividing 10 by 0. This will lead for arithmetic exception, means your application will get some error. After writing this, let me just execute my application once again. You can refresh it over here, and because it has arithmetic exception, so that's why I'm getting this white label error page. But after doing this, let me just open error.log, and there you go. You can see that the division by 0 error log is maintained over here, right? So in this way guys, with the help of logback.xml file, you can maintain logs in different files. So with this you have seen that how to implement logging in Spring Boot app, and I hope that this video is going to be very useful for you. So this video I created because you people demanded for how to implement logging. So if you want me to create a video on any other topic, so you can mention that in the comment box, and I'll come up with the video on that topic very soon. So I hope guys you liked this video, and if you liked it, so please hit like button and subscribe my channel and share it with your friends. And thank you so much.